You are now listening to the Keith Ferrante podcast, hosted by the one and only Keith Ferrante.
Yo, 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 Keith Ferrante here. How you guys doing? It's so good to be here with you guys. Hope you're having an amazing time wherever you're listening or watching from. I want to chat about, I just started this conversation. The reason why I want to chat some more about my new book, Money Stuck, and why I wrote it. This is my 27th book, and interesting, a few months ago, it was only a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I was out walking in prayer one day on the beach, and I saw in my hand like 2 new books, like babies, and the Lord gave me one of them, which was on consulting that I do, prophetic consulting, and another on Money Stuck. It was like, this is a part of your season shift. And they're both business strategies and for different reasons. So I wrote both of those books in a workbook style, which is different. This is the first. This is a thick book, but it has a lot of room in it. It's a full book. It's got a full concept in it, but it has different questions and pages where there's just some lines to make notes and to have some dialogue and to kind of go through a journey. I had a friend maybe a couple years ago seed me with this idea that what I do in consulting, helping business guys get breakthrough in consulting and establish a new version of themselves and help them get to the next season, help them get unstuck. He's like, Keith, you need to do, you need to put in book form what you do in consulting. It would really help out some folks, and it will get into the hands of some people that maybe you wouldn't normally meet, and it would really open up an opportunity for the kingdom to advance. And so that was kind of in the back of my head a few years ago that, there might be a book like this that would come out that help business guys kind of go through a journey in a way that like I walk them through personally and in one-on-one scenarios. And so that all kind of came back to me in this season, and I thought, well, maybe it's a time to write that book that person thought I should write. And then the Lord showed me the 2 books, and so I went to work and I wrote both books, and I really haven't I'm still discovering what God is in with both of these books. I haven't even promoted the other book yet at all, because I'm just letting the Lord, it's a part of my new season. But this book, why I wrote this book, because I'm really passionate to help, and I love helping business guys that are a little bit, farther in the journey of business, just get to the next level. It doesn't matter where you're at. You could be making $1 million and there's a $5 million upgrade available. But to get to that, you have to kind of bust through a threshold that has kept you at $1 million. And so I love working. I used to do a lot of helping people kind of just figure out how to get into business and startups and everything. That's not really what this is written for. My passion is really to help people that already have something established. But there's a shift happening. Maybe what they have built is going away. Maybe what they just because I went through a similar journey the last few years. I ran a business for 10 years, and I learned to be an entrepreneur in that, and it was a successful business, and it was a one-of-a-kind business that I created, and then I sold that organization and gave that organization to a mentor of mine, and went through a major shift myself, still in the middle of it. And so I understand that business people can build something and then they go through a transition. And I'm with a number of people even right now that are going through big shifts, and they've made a lot of money. Some of them made 20, 30 million bucks a year, and they're like going through a shift where it's not working like it used to work. And you can really feel devalued in that season. Who am I? What am I? Am I a failure? I've had to go through that own journey of who am I? It's kind of a normal thing when you leave an organization that you ran and became so much a part of who you are. It's used to be in different pastoral positions. When I remember leaving my first church after 10 or 11 years, it's like, who am I? You know, my whole identity was wrapped around being a senior pastor. So it's like you kind of like had an identity crisis. And I think maybe guys might have this challenge maybe a little bit more than ladies, because we get a little bit more of our identity from what we do. And I'm not saying that ladies can't, but it seems like we have more problems, and we kind of are in a weird limbo place. We're in these, when we're no longer in a job, because the job, that's why guys, when you ask each other, if you're just meeting someone, you're always like, dude, what do you do? Because it then gives us a understanding of part of their identity. It's like, oh yeah, I'm over here in this space. And every one of us guys tries to describe what we do in a way that elevates us. Even if it's like, if we're a janitor, we might be like, we might try to say it in a human resource, like human, I can't remember, human resource disposal, like we're trying to say it in a way that, makes us feel good about it. In reality, if you're a janitor, it's great. God, you know what? There's some amazing janitors that, like, dude, janitor does not define you in a demeaning way more than big high-powered CEO makes you better than the janitor. It's a part of what you do. It's if you find a kingdom purpose in it, can be very fulfilling no matter what. But in society, it's always who's who. Oh, do you do this? Okay, awesome. You're awesome, or you're a peon. It's either you're elevated or you're reduced according to what you do. But I think for us, and why I wrote this book, is to help people navigate the shifts that happen in their life, but in a way that doesn't demoralize you. When somebody's business is tanking after making a boatload of money every year, I tell that person, it's like, you look no different to me because you're not making the money that you were making before. You're not less valuable. I don't see you as you're a loser now. You were an entrepreneur before, now you're a loser. But when you're going through it, you can feel like a loser. When you're the one going through the thing not working anymore, you feel like the loser. But it's not true. And I think for me, it's like, okay, my joy is to help people move through those transitions, because this is an opportunity that God wants to give somebody. He wants to give somebody a greater understanding of who He is and who they are. And He goes from glory to glory. So, every season I've been through 5, this is my 5th major change that I can tell in the 27 years of marriage I've been in. I'm sure I had some more before then, but every season shift, I still retain the identity of the previous season in my new makeup now. It's just the Lord reorders the makeup of those gifts. So another gift, another identity, He reorders the identity so that another identity becomes a little bit more the leader in you. Now, some of us are like, from day one till now, I am always a leader. Leader. Some of us are very like, oh, I'm always a helper. Doesn't matter what season we transition through. It's like helper is there, helper's in the new season, helper's in. That's fine. But I've found in my own life that you still retain some of the through lines of who you've always been. But God might want to put another one out front and center so people start knowing you as more than what you have limited yourself to be as that previous identity. For instance, I started out my journey 8 years ago with my wife and I as a pastor. I owned that identity. I was proud of that identity. It was an identity that my parents and my grandparents had. And I was walking in that identity handed down. It was like the high bar. Oh, you're a pastor. Wow. And so I got affirmation from that initial identity. And then I went through a period where the Lord scrapped my being received as a pastor that fit how others viewed a pastor should look and do church. All of a sudden, God introduced His presence. He introduced the prophetic. He introduced the supernatural. He introduced a whole new ecosystem of heaven into my life. And the people that thought I was the best thing ever and the church cultures that I was in, all of a sudden were like, who is Keith? I don't know if I like Keith. I don't agree with who he's becoming. I don't agree with what he's doing. And so what was God doing in my season of, I was going through a transition. I was having now to deal with the fear of man I did not realize was in there when I was getting all those accolades. Keith, we love that you're the pastor. We're so proud of you. Great job. Wow, you pursued the will of God in your life. And so what happened? God had to scrap that fear of man. Every time you go through a shift, and that's what this book helps you see, every time you go through a shift, there's a big fear that you have to get rid of that comes up. And that fear will hold you back from the new identity. There's an old identity, there's a new one. So I had to move from pastor to revivalist pastor. That's what the shift for me was, several years shift where I went through a lot of people not being happy about what I was doing, but then I found the Lord. I found the presence of God. I found God's talking to me. I found He's real. I found His power is real. So I began to find this. That's what we would call a revivalist pastor. I began to be a champion of the presence of God. That was a big upgrade for me from pastor to revivalist pastor. Well, then I went on to other seasons. 5 seasons later, I am still at my core a revivalist pastor. There is a passion inside of me for people to connect to God, for Him to be their everything, for them to be healthy relationally, for them to hear God's voice. So I did not lose the revivalist pastor. It just changed, and then certain other things started coming out. Another identity came years later. In the last 10 years, I learned to be an entrepreneur. All of a sudden, Keith doesn't maybe look like a pastor to everybody. Now, some people, when they get to know me, oh, wow, there's a pastor in there. There's a care in there for God's presence and care in there for people. It's like, yeah, the pastor's still there. Now it has new clothing on it. Now I look like an entrepreneur. And I realize, oh, I'm with business people. And I'm like, you know what I realize? I'm still pastoring. But now I'm also a business person. So I'm also marketing and I'm selling and I'm doing deals. And I learned, okay, there's that. That is valid as well. So I expanded and became more. And so Money Stuck, the book Money Stuck, I wrote that to help people understand these shifts that we go through. There was a book written years ago that was like a classic book in the business world, like called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's basically a similar concept, but not in maybe kingdom language and from a kingdom perspective. Like what happens when life and business change? How do you find the new thing? And so this is a kingdom Who Moved My Cheese version. It's like what happens when all of a sudden things are shifting and God starts introducing to you that you are more than you were. You know, years ago when people started saying, Keith, you're going to look way different than a pastor. You're not even going to look like a pastor. People will not even think, you're going to look like a prince. You're going to look like a king. You're going to look like an entrepreneur. And they begin to say that stuff. I'm like, no, not in 1,000 years. I am pastor deep down inside. That's who I am. That's what I thought was my whole world. I built in church. I built in a church context. I built in a traditional church context. Well, God shifted that, brought me to a whole new season, and slowly, little by little, introduced Keith. Yes, that is still there, but I want you to embrace more. There's more in you. Why? Because not just for you, but so your kids can have an invitation that there's more. It's not just grandpa, pastor, great-grandpa that's a pastor, me that's a pastor, my kids are. Now it's like, okay, my kids have more open availability, possibilities. For me, one of the reasons I went through some of the changes I went through over the last years, it's like I wanted my kids to go, hey, yeah, hold on to the kingdom legacy that's in the family line. Hold on to the love of God. Hold on to the presence of the Lord. Hold on to the power of God and hearing God's voice. But maybe you're going to look different. Maybe you'll look like a business person. Maybe you'll look like some other, whatever you want to be. But it's like sometimes each one of us are going through a shift because That way there's going to be introduced to the people around us a new possibility. When you're a pioneer type of person, when you're a business person, that's more than just, okay, I'm the same brick and mortar business person that's doing the same business for 50 years. Chiropractor, same city, same town, same building. Dentist, same city. That's great. Praise the Lord for that stability. But if you might be that kind of business person that's like changing, evolving, becoming more, stepping in, risking, that's more entrepreneurial than like a big, like just like a brick and mortar business kind of a person. They're two different types of business people, both valid. But if you're that person, then God will, let me change you because you're more of a pioneer. And so there's pioneers and settlers. People, there's two, you look at people, there's people that are more like settlers. They just want the stable. They're more settled. I just want predictable. I want the same. I want stable. I want same house, same life, same dollars. They kind of might want to wish for a little bit more, but they're not willing to like become more so they can have more. That's fine. We need stable settlers. I'm thankful for those. We need people, because new people pioneer something, and then you need settlers to establish what a pioneer blazes a new trail, and then people come and establish that. Well, in the same way, this book is helping for those of you that realize there is more than where you're currently at, and you don't want to just stay in that same position. Like I said, you don't lose who you are. I haven't lost every season, built more in me than I was before. More identity, more authority, more opportunity, more resources. I grew in wealth, not just financially, but in who I was, became bigger. And every time that goes to the next season, but then sometimes God reorders the gift set inside of us so that this one comes out front that maybe we were not used to leading with. And all of a sudden those others are put in a little bit of a different package. And so I think just wanting to leave you with, a little bit of why I wrote this book. So some of us that feel like there's a season shift happening, explore it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't hide it. Don't hide from it. See it as an invitation from the Lord, an exciting adventure you get to go on. And don't kick and scream the whole time. I've been through, like I said, 5 major changes in my married life. And you know what? Sometimes I've kicked and screamed in them and worried. And, some stuff, sometimes your money stops working like it was. That's helping you see there's more money, but it's out there. You got to go find it. Sometimes relationships are not working as well. Sometimes a job changes all of a sudden. Maybe you get fired. Maybe they just run out of money for that position and all of a sudden you're done. Or maybe the thing you've built is no longer working anymore and it's not robust anymore. And it's see it as an invitation instead of what's wrong with me. See it as God saying, hey, I've got something more for you. I want to show you. I want to take you there. It's going to be great. Just settle. And I told the Lord that as I could see this shift coming a couple of years ago. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I know that when these things happen, sometimes your money stops working as well on the journey to find the new in resources. Help me not to be a worrywart during that whole time. Help me to be more at peace. Help me not to be afraid the whole time. I want to come out of this knowing that you're good. Every time you transition us, you're moving us to something even better than we had before. So I've had some pretty good seasons, and He's got something even better. So I'd encourage you guys, if you're in that shift, don't panic, don't freak out. Get the book. Money Stuck. I actually got that title in a dream. I woke up with that title, Money Stuck. I'm like, wow, I've never even heard someone say that. I don't even know if it's grammatically correct, but I was like, it seems to have a little bit of a punch to it. And it's really helping leaders in business navigate change and get unstuck. That's what this is about. So get the book. Get out of the stuck zone. It is a good season. And God is up to some good things. He wants you to be on the cutting edge, because when you break through that previous season and that stagnancy, all of a sudden you're in this new land and others are like, dude, oh wow, let me follow you because I've been stuck too. And they all of a sudden take courage from your victories and begin to go forward. So are you a pioneer or are you a settler? If you're a pioneer, move forward. Have courage to move forward. relinquish the fears. Don't hold on to the past because it's stable and consistent, because it's losing. You're grasping at straws. It's not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to hold on to it. And if you hold on to it for very long, it dies. And then you're holding on to something dead. I think a couple years ago, I was having an encounter with the Lord, and He showed me that I was in the heavens and I was riding this horse. But then I looked behind me and I'm like, I'm dragging a dead horse. There was the horse I was on, and it was a dead horse. And it was like, you know what? And He told me what that was. It was a journey with a group of people. He's like, dude, you got to cut that loose. And it wasn't the organization I was building, but it was something else. It was like, cut that loose. It's not life-giving. And you're trying to be loyal and trying to drag that thing along, but have the courage to cut loose with things that are definitely dying so that you can step into the next season. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful for you to just shine a little bit of a light on what season you might be in. And I know that it's an exciting season in front of us for those of us that are saying yes. Let's be a part of the yes people. And let's get there. God has great things for you. Bless you guys. We will chat again soon. Share this post with other people if you like it. Share this platform and let other people hear this message. And comment below on any questions you might have for us or any comments you have. We love hearing from you. Bless you.